Howdy folks, my tag is Pixels Aplenty, and this is a tutorial for my 3x3 flush creeper door. But before I begin, I just want to mention that this is not my double piston extender design, it's by Northwind Studios. So if I'm not stupid, there will be a link in the description. And just lastly, before we begin, I want to apologize for my audio because my mic died on me, which was lovely, as well as there's not going to be any game sound, unfortunately, because frankly my audio recorder isn't capturing it right now, which kind of sucks, but I don't think it's really necessary for this video. The only thing you might want to note is just for a couple frames when it finishes there will be a couple piston sounds, but it's not that big a deal. Okay, so on with the tutorial. Okay, so for this tutorial I'll be breaking up into multiple steps. First, I'll be showing where all the pistons and observers go, as well as how to build the 2x2 extender at the bottom. From there, I will show you how to build the pieces that put the creeper face in place. After that, I will show you the timings that go on the bottom. And then from there, I will show the timings that go on the top. As well as this door doesn't work in certain directions. However, I do have a fix for that. And when we get around to it, I will show how to change it so it works properly on your world. And beyond that, I'll be showing you how to reset the door, as well as, if you're interested, I'll put a timestamp in the description if you want to skip it, a bit of how the redstone mechanics work that make this door possible. And after that, I will go on to talk about what my channel will become. And to be frank, it'll probably be nothing because I'm lazy. So yeah, look forward to that. Okay, so to begin, we're going to need to find a spot to put it. So it needs 2 blocks beside and above where the actual 3x3 door goes. As well as below it, it needs 5 blocks of space. One thing to note is there is going to be a piston in the floor somewhere around here. And if you have a base, like part of your base, like let's say you have a cave or something, you're going to want to have a block underneath it unless you want that piston exposed. Beyond that, you actually only need 3 blocks in the back here. So it's fairly good. Like let's say you want to put your face in the mountain. You don't have to go super far in, so it should be nice and spacious in the base itself. Okay, so what you're going to need to build this, are you going to need a stair of your choice and a block of your choice for the face itself, as well as a block that obeys gravity, such as concrete powder. And that'll be for the actual eyes and mouth and nose of the creeper itself. Beyond that, you're going to need blocks to put redstone on, a couple slabs to put redstone on, redstone itself, a repeater, a torch, I say a torch, but you're going to need multiple, some pistons, observers, and as well as a button. You're going to need one for the trigger, though you can hook it up to a lever or something. I'll show you how to do that later. But you're just going to want one in general because you want to test to make sure everything works. So to begin, we're going to build the 2x2 extender, or the 2 block extender. Wow, I can't speak English. So you're going to start by placing 2 pistons on top of each other in a line of 3. Place blocks on top of that, and then put 2 sand above those. Okay, then from there, you're going to take repeaters and put them into the pistons. Do not put any extra ticks onto this. Then you're going to take an observer block. You're going to place it facing so the power comes out of the top, and you can tell because there will be a little red dot on the top. Then you're going to link up redstone here. Now, the one thing you're going to do now is you're going to want to test it to make sure everything's working properly. So just put a button down right here, hit it, and it should push up too. Get everything right. And if you didn't, like I did, it won't work. So what you need to also do is you need to put blocks there. There we go. Okay, so after that, you can destroy the button. You can go back to the top, and we'll get to the next part of the build. Okay, so next, just one more thing I forgot to mention. These blocks here don't actually need to be here, but I'm just leaving them here because it's easier when I walk over them. I will replace them a little bit later. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to place a block here and a block here. As well as you're going to want to place a slab here, and this does need to be a slab. And you're going to want to place a block here, another piece of whatever you have that obeys gravity here. Then from there, what you're going to do is you're just going to put a block here, a block here. And when I say block, I mean piston. Again, I'm stupid, so there you go. Then you're just going to place one more piston facing out here. And then you're going to do something similar here. You're going to place a piston here and a piston there. Then you're going to place a piston facing in, and you're going to note this one's going to be one higher than this one here. It's not going to exist. Then you're going to want to place a stair facing upside down here, a stair facing upside down here, and keep in mind this is going to be part of the actual face itself. And then from there, you're going to want to go above here. You're going to want to place a block here and a block here. Then you're going to place an observer facing down. Again, you'll see the little red dot. Do the same thing over here. Then you're going to take a piston and a piston there. And then you're going to want to go up and you're going to put another piston facing in. And this is just going to be a solid block of whatever you want the creeper face to be made of. And now from here, you can fill in most of it if you want. It's completely optional, but you do actually need a block there, I forgot to mention. You just fill in that, and then you can fill in that, and there. And that's all the basic pistons pushed down, as well as the double piston extender. So on to the next part. Okay, so the next step is you're just gonna want to go up here. You're gonna put a piece of redstone dust on here and here, as well as you're gonna want to place a block here and a block here. Then you're just gonna want to go down one, place a block right there. Whoops. Then you're gonna have a repeater facing into that block with as many ticks as you can get on it. You're gonna want to do the same thing over here. Now from here, you're gonna want to place 3 blocks of iron here. I say iron, it can be any block, it doesn't really matter. Then you're gonna place a block there, and you're gonna have a repeater powering into that block with no charge on it. Same with this one. Then you're just gonna come down here, and you're gonna build a piece across here. You're gonna dip it down one here. You have it connected there, and you're just gonna run into this dust along the new line you just made. Then from here, you're gonna have this repeater powering into this block here, and there'll be an empty gap in it, which will have a piece of redstone in it. It's gonna drag this along here, so it powers into this. Now, if you've done everything correctly, you should be able to place a button right here, and if you press it, it should now extend out. So the next thing you want to do is you're going to take these blocks here out, and you're just going to want to grab pistons for the last time. I say it for the last time, it's actually not the last time, but it's the last time until we get onto the timing. Just going to place them right up along the bottom of the sand, and then you're going to place a stair facing in, and a block facing upwards. Or I say a block facing upwards, it's a block, it's never going to face in any other direction. Okay, now we're getting ready for the next part, so if you just want to do one last thing, you can place a button here. This is where it's going to get a little bit more complicated, because this is the timing and it's very, very strict. So to start off, the button here is going to be pressed, you see where the edge of the door is? You're just going to want to go in out 4 blocks, and it'll be right here. So 3 in the middle. It's not necessary to have a button here, but especially for testing this, you're going to want it. In actuality, you just need to have a 11 or 10 tick signal, whatever the button is, going to this to trigger the mechanism. So what you're going to want to do from here is you're going to go down 1 block, and then you're going to want to go 2. You're just going to trail redstone dust along here. Then you're going to have a repeater with no ticks at all, going into a piston. I say a piston going into a block, and underneath that there should be a piston, as you can see here. Then you're going to take another sticky piston, you're going to have it facing towards the rest of the pistons over here. You're going to place a block down. Now, actually you're going to place a block here. Now from there, what you're going to do is you just want to run a redstone signal all the way to the back here. And then over on this side, you're going to want to have a piece of redstone dust. You're going to want to have a full maxed out repeater, another full maxed out repeater, and then one last full maxed out repeater. Then you're going to place a block, or actually you're going to place a piece of redstone here. And then you're going to place one more piece of redstone here to connect it. Now, what you're going to want to do is you want to place 2 repeaters, both on 2 ticks, and you just want to connect them to redstone. Okay, now from here, what you're going to do is you're going to want to set up an observer facing upwards. Again, you can see the little red piece on top. Then you're going to place a block and a piece of redstone there. Then you're just going to place another block here, another block here. And then on those blocks, you're going to have pistons facing outwards like this. Then you're going to have a block that's 2 out, so it should be right on the edge there. And you're going to do the same thing over here. Now you're going to pillar up like this, then grab a redstone torch, like so. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Then you're going to go 1 beside the redstone torch. You're going to go with 2. So here you're going to place a piece of redstone dust and a repeater, and you're going to hit this 2 times. So it's like this. And then on the other side, you're going to want to do something similar. However, instead you're going to have 1 repeater here, and you're going to hit this one once. Then you're just going to put another on-charge repeater. Then from there, you're just going to want to go like this, and then put a piston or a torch. No, I'm going to recommend to place this twice just so it resets it, because otherwise the block's going to be out. You do the same thing on the other side. You're just going up here, and then place a torch, break the torch, and then replace it. Now, if everything's working well, it should all be out like this. Then you just want to, I would recommend quickly opening this up. Now, what you're going to do is when you press the button, you're going to want to see how these blocks move inwards. Everything goes well, then you're going to click it again, and these should move outwards. However, that's facing the right direction. As I said earlier, this doesn't work in certain directions, but there is a fix for that. So if you want to fix it, what you're going to do is you're just going to build this little piece here. So to do that, what you want to do is you just need to tear out this right here. It's going to build a block up here. It's going to place that like that. Then you're just going to drag the redstone along and then place it down, and that should fix it. I guess I got a little ahead of myself. I forgot one thing when doing the directional fix. What you're going to do is just going to place another block there. That way the redstone signal doesn't get passed over to here. Now, this fix itself is mainly to make sure if it's facing in this direction here or that direction there. Because essentially there's a bug where, so what's happening here is it's getting a super, super short tick. But unfortunately, that will not work in certain directions. So you just need to put that and it'll fix it. If you're having questions or any problems with this, especially, this build here, the blue blocks here represent the fix, and it's on the finished model. And the red blocks, or the red piece of glass, represent what needs to be torn out. And as well, this whole thing in general, the aqua blocks, the lighter ones, represent where new blocks are being placed. And the dark prismarine is the blocks that were already there. Okay, now back onto the tutorial. Okay, so now for the final part. So what we're going to do is we're going to wire up the top part. Now before we do this step, I would actually recommend just taking all the sand out, or whatever block you have affected by gravity. In my case, it's actually concrete. So you're going to want to break this block here, and this block here. Now the reason we're doing this is essentially, actually we're going to take these ones out too, essentially because when this fires, we don't want anything to be pushed out of the way. So if so, it can push out the pistons. So to start off, what we're going to do is we're just going to go down one here, then one more there, and we're going to place a redstone torch. Then underneath of this, we're going to go one out. We're just going to place another torch right there. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a signal here. Keep in mind, this is the part where you need the slabs. So what we're going to do is you're going to want to go down one here. Just going to place a piece of redstone. Then here you're going to place another block. Then on this block, you're going to place a repeater with no ticks. And you're going to have that power into this block here, which is going to have a piece of redstone on it. Then from here, what you're going to want to do is you just want to take two slabs. You're going to place a piece of redstone here. Then you're going to take a repeater, and you just want to go in. You're just going to place that here. You're going to hit it twice. There we go. Then you're going to have that power into this block right here. Then you're going to put a little piece of redstone on it. Now, if you've done everything correctly, let's just make sure that everything fires. Yep, looks good. So I'm just going to hit one more time. So that's downwards. Okay, now you're just going to take your blocks you used to build the creeper face. Just going to refill this in. So this is going to be a block here, stair facing inwards, stair facing inwards, upwards stair. You're going to put a sand block here, sand block here. I say sand again, it's using concrete, old habits, right? You're just going to place one block here. Now again, if you've done everything correctly, if you hit the button, everything should fire correctly and should pop up. If you hit it again, everything looks good. Okay, so from here I'm just going to fill this in so you get a better idea of what it actually looks like. As well as after this, I'm going to show you how to reset it in case something goes wrong. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like, and I'm just going to hit it one more time. So let's say something goes wrong and you accidentally fire it twice before it's done. So this is a pretty easy fix, actually. For the most part, if these pop out, you're just going to want to push them back in, but that's going to be a little more complicated. What we're saying is if it gets out of sync. So when it's off, essentially, so when it's open, this block here should be outwards, and this block here should be outwards. So if it fails there, you're just going to want to reset that. And as well as when those two blocks are out, this one here should be out. So suggesting you have anything in here, since everything's what's essentially happening is being pushed out and then it pops sit off and then pops back. So essentially what you're going to do is, let's say you have the blocks up like this. You're just going to break them and then place them downwards one block. Or if the sand's out of place, you just place it back in here. And that's the end of the tutorial. So from here, I'll show a couple cool things about how to make the door and how it works. I mean, how it works, not how to make the door. I've already shown you how to make the door. If you're leaving here, thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoy the door. Other words, let's get on with this video. So the first thing I want to show off is, just going to clear my inventory, is how seal, normally it has to be hooked up to a stone button for it to work. However, you can get around that. So what you want to do is essentially you just want to get something that extends the pulse or shortens it to a specific amount. In this case, we want to have it around equal to a stone button. So if you hook it up to something like this, again, this one's fairly large. You can probably find a much smaller one. You can have it hooked up to things like, let's say, for example, a lever. A button, or a wooden button. If you didn't know, wooden buttons stay active far longer than stone buttons. Or if you want, you can even use a pressure plate. And as well, one more thing, if you want to hook it up to a lever, you need to turn it essentially into a button input. You can do that by having it just like, let's say, for example, you want this. So you just want to, what you want to do is you want to place like a lever, and then you just want a redstone signal going into the observer block, and that'll essentially turn it into a button press. As well as you're going to want to have a comparator in the back. Not a comparator, a repeater in the back that gives it a little bit more of a tick just to make sure nothing breaks. But for that, you can definitely find a smaller tick extender online. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want to hook anything up into it, you just want to hook it up in this block here underneath where the button is. The button doesn't even need to exist. It's just you need something going into there. And if you want, actually, you can lower the block. Nothing's going to go wrong there. Just have it there for convenience on this build. Okay, now this build I'm just going to give it a little bit more info. So this build, I had something similar in my redstone world laying around for a while, and I never actually finished it, and I thought that was kind of a bummer. So I came back to see if I could finish it and actually made something much nicer than what I was working on. So essentially how this works is, because if you didn't know this, observers send a 1 tick pulse, and because of that, pistons need at least 2 ticks. I believe it is. I might be wrong. They need a longer tick, basically, to hold on, to both push it out and bring it back. So if you send a super quick tick, it'll change the state of the block. And so essentially what I'm doing is, for a lot of it, is this being pushed out, and then this is giving it a quick 1 tick, which in turn makes it push out, and then it gets pulled back in, but without the block this time. And the reason it needs to do that is because, as you can see here, the sand pushes up and it will run into the piston and you'll have problems, as well as the piston. You can see the head of it beyond there, so it looks really, really ugly. So if you have any questions about this build or anything like that, feel free to message me in the comments or on Twitter. I'll hopefully put my Twitter account in the description, as well as you can message me on Reddit, because I'm going to post this on Reddit. Again, the directional fix here is, you need that if you're going in any direction. I'm not sure what the directions are in Minecraft, to be honest, but you can see the pointed line, the middle piece, it should show you which way it is. And you'll be able to tell because the pistons won't fire if it's in the wrong direction without the fix, because essentially what's happening is this piston isn't getting the signal to push it ahead, which means this will never trigger, so this won't push. That's going to be all for this tutorial. Again, the double piston extender was made by Northwind Studios, and it should have a link in the description. The world in this that I've used in this video is going to be available for download, and it has all of them the build during a bunch of different stages. So you can use that if you don't like listening to my voice. And even if you do, I'd probably set myself to 0.75 speed because I do talk fast. As for what's going to be on this channel, it might have a couple more Minecraft videos, but I do want to start reviewing other games or more accurately talking about them. So I'm going to start a series called Beating Down the Backlog. And it's just going to be me casually giving game reviews and what I think about them. I'm probably going to start with Mario Maker 2, so that should be fun. Other than that, I might start reviewing games and trying to dissect them to see what mechanics they have and what works, what doesn't. I think that'll be a lot of fun if I ever do that, but again, lazy. Beyond that, again, I might make more Minecraft videos. I'm not sure yet. It depends on if I have the inspiration for it. And if you have any suggestions for things I could do better, but the audio is pretty bad, but there wasn't much I could do about that today. Please feel free to let me know in the comments. And other than that, have a nice day. Again, you can reach me at my Twitter or just message me on Reddit because this will be posted on Reddit. Thanks. Have a nice day. Cheers.